Feet at the hands of Lennox Lewis about 8 months ago. Hurt his hand the previous fight, and shaking that off, had some surgery. Now back in the ring for the first time against Marcus Rhode. Let's take a closer look at Shannon Briggs.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Brooklyn, New York, here is the challenger, Shannon Briggs.
At 29-1, Shannon Briggs took his first big step last November facing George Foreman and pulled out a disputed 12-round decision.
And new linear heavyweight champion of the world, Shannon Briggs.
An unpopular decision, but it vaulted Briggs into a world title shot, although stopped in 5 by Lennox Lewis. Tonight, Briggs returns.
It feels great to be fighting back in New York City. I'm from New York, Brooklyn, and it feels great. You know, I haven't fought in 6-7 months. I'm looking forward to it. I had some time off. I had some fun. I enjoyed a little bit of my summer. Now I'm ready to show my fans what I'm made of.
The loss to Lewis had its lessons. Now Briggs anxiously moves on.
Now it's just time to take it to the next level and stop being a good young fighter and move to being just a great fighter. And hopefully lead me toward a big fight with either Holyfield, a rematch with Lewis, or maybe Mike Tyson.
The words of Shannon Briggs, who steps in the ring tonight for the first time in 8 months. Surgery on the left hand after the Lewis fight. So tonight is strictly a rebound fight from the loss, a test for the hand, chance to rebuild the confidence, to retool. This is no question a one-sided looking fight against Marcus Rhode, who has been on the road for most of his career. He has a very impressive knockout ratio, 23 wins, 23 knockouts, but he's also lost 12 fights, and on 10 of those occasions has hit the canvas and lost. He is a brawler, and he is going to make it or break it with the big punch, but hoping to land it on Shannon Briggs and come off with a spectacular upset. But for Rhode, who is in the ring right now out of St. Joseph, Missouri, he's been in 35 fights. 33 of them have ended in a knockout, and whenever he has stepped up, he just has not gotten very far. 5 times he stepped up, and he has not been past the second round. Emmanuel Stewart is now in the corner of Shannon Briggs, making his entrance in front of this New York crowd. Shannon Briggs from the Brownsville section of Brooklyn that also produced Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe, and trying to become the 3rd heavyweight champion of the world from that area.
Promotions in association with Power Punch, Foxwoods Resort Casino, and Budweiser, proud to be your bud, presents 10 rounds heavyweights. Your referee for this event, once again, the sensational Steve Smoger. Introducing now the principals first. In the blue corner to my left, wearing the red trunks, white trim, he weighs in at 240 pounds. His professional record reads 30 victories, 2 defeats, 24 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails now from Brooklyn, New York, and represented by Mark Roberts Worldwide Entertainment and Sports. Here is the former linear heavyweight champion of the world, Shannon Briggs. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with the white trim, he weighs in at 250 pounds. His professional record, 23 victories, 12 defeats, 23 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, and now boxes out of the hills of St. Joe, Missouri. Here is Marcus Rhode. 10 rounds.
Hi, Marcus, Shannon. You were given your instructions at the weigh-in. I want you to obey my commands at all times, respect the bell at all times, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch up, touch up, touch up.
Shannon Briggs reminding Marcus Rhode of their Jerry Springer type performance in the weigh-in, both jawing at one another, had to be separated. Good thing that Sean was there to get in the middle of them. Let me just point out, Shannon Briggs, after his first ever defeat to Darrell Wilson, came out in his next fight and knocked out his opponent in 22 seconds. He's now coming off his second ever defeat. There's that wild swing by Rhode. He knows he's in there to just try to catch Shannon Briggs coming in. Briggs with 17 KOs in the first round. Rhode swinging away. This is going to be a quick draw. Briggs now digging to the midsection. You can see Rhode now looking to load up on that right hand. Tremendous size advantage for Briggs, who's just cornering Rhode.
Matter of time. As soon as Briggs connects, this fight's over. Difficult to hit. A lot of movement here in this first round.
Shannon Briggs, who took it to world champion Lennox Lewis in the first round, had Lewis against the ropes before Lewis came back to down Briggs and stop him in the fifth.
Big left hook. Stunning blow.
It appeared as Briggs may have lost some steam in that fight against Lewis. Happened against Darrell Wilson. Briggs, who suffers from asthma and sometimes has that difficulty, tough sport to be involved with. And that is knockdown number 1.
6.
But Shannon, when you really think of the Warrior effort, considering that he fought the Lewis fight with a broken hand, actually may have fought Foreman with that hand. He said it happened in the fight before that against Jorge Valdez back in June. There's that tough body shot. It's a question here, the over-under, if Marcus Rhode can make it out of the first round. If he did, it is a moral victory and something that none of us really expected. But Rhode trying to keep a short crouch stance. There again is the shot.
Just on the liver. The liver sits on the right side of your body.
7.
And Shannon Briggs landed right on that liver.
You all right? You all right? You all
And
right?
it hurts. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Just get his glove out of my belly.
3 knockdown. Out of nowhere, Rhode.
I guess this is going to be a birthday present for Shannon. He just had a birthday on the 4th of January. I mean, December.
And no knockdown. So Steve Smoker continuing this fight. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Shannon Briggs turned 27 Friday.
Good.
And this certainly,
Thank you.
I was going to say helping out Marcus Rhode, but maybe that is not the case. I think he would like to be helped out. Just about ready to take the seat on the canvas. But did we hear the bell? No. Steve Smoker waves it off seconds before the end of round number 1. And for Shannon Briggs, well, it maybe was a test for his broken left hand, because he certainly was landing it enough, but didn't really get in many rounds. They're trying to make a February fight against Lou Savarese on HBO. Shannon Briggs really needed to get more action in to be ready for that one. And in that sense, Michael Grant, this may not have been a good fight for Shannon Briggs, who possibly needed some more rounds before a possible matchup with Savarese coming up in February, just a couple of months.
I think you're right there, Al, but also coming off the injury that he had on his left hand, that it was a good comfort zone for him to let him know he can get back in there and bang with it. I assume that he's going to put more rounds in the gym and build up his confidence as far as in the gym. Or it may be already there, but, you know, we'll soon see in February. And, you know, congratulations, Shannon.
All right, when you take a look at Shannon Briggs, and over the horizon, there's the inevitable matchup of Shannon Briggs and Michael Grant. What are the things you're watching in Shannon Briggs tonight?
Well, you know, the whole thing is about composure and keeping your ability going. Basically, I know some fighters can make you look bad, and this wasn't really a good matchup for you can look at Shannon and see what, you know, his rights and his wrongs. If you put a skillful fighter in there, then you can really analyze Shannon Briggs.
Do you think that Briggs, who had won 25 in a row at one point, was 29-1 going into the George Foreman fight, that at that point had not really gotten to the level actually ready for those kind of fights? Foreman's another question, but in fighting Lewis for the heavyweight champion still has work to be done?
Yes, he has a little bit of work to be done. The window should always stay open for Shannon Briggs.
Roland must get a picture. Roland. Roland.
All right, we're ready now for the official time. Here's Mark Biro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 2 minutes, 55 seconds of the first round. The 3 knockdown rule in effect. The winner by tactical knockout, Shannon Briggs. Briggs.
1 second.
Well, if you had the under, you won. Although 2:55 of the first round, I kind of thought this one was going maybe a minute and a half. So give credit to Marcus Rhode just bombing away. And, you know, he unleashed some bombs, and it just kind of flicked off Shannon Briggs. All right, here's the champ.
Tonight, target practice, Shannon.
Yeah, a little bit.
You had a little problems with your left hand in the past. How is it?
Oh, my hand is great now, you know. I took 8 months off. I haven't fought since the Lennox Lewis fight, and I feel good. My hand's ready to have operation. You know, I fought the Lennox Lewis fight and the George Foreman fight with a broken left hand. You can see I got the surgery here, so I feel great now.
Yeah. What did a fight like this do for you?
Well, to be honest with you, I trained 5 days. I'm gonna be honest with you.
What do you mean you trained five days?
I trained 5 days.
So are you saying you're overtrained for Marcus Rhode?
Well, you know, I trained 5 days. Not to take anything away from him. He's a real man. He came, he fought, and he caught me with some punches because I haven't been in the ring in 8 months. He's my first sparring match since my last fight.
5 days of training. Are you surprised that you got hit with that sucker shot?
No, I'm not surprised. I haven't sparred. I haven't been in the ring as far as somebody throwing punches at me in 8 months. So I feel great, you know.
Where do you go from here? You've been at the top of boxing. You've been at the bottom of boxing. You want to be back at the top. What do you do to get there?
Talking about the bottom, I've been at the way bottom, you know, after the Wilson fight, and then I lost the Lennox Lewis fight. But now I feel like, you know, I can only go up. I have a lot of experience. I fought 2 of the hardest hitting boxers to ever live, Lennox Lewis and George Foreman. And I did good. I think I did good against both guys. So looking at that, you know, I can only go up. I'm young. You talk about all these heavyweights, Michael Grant, Tua, those guys are good, but they have not fought the 2 toughest guys that I fought, and that was back-to-back and with a broken left hand. So, I mean, what can I say?
Speaking of Michael Grant, you know, he's sitting at ringside listening.
Right there. Yeah.
Anything you want to say?
You know, Mike's a nice guy. I like him. We've always been cool, but this is boxing, you know, and I'm sure after we fight and we get it on, we'll be friends again, but for right now, all I can see is me knocking Michael out.
Let's see, 1 round tonight. You're supposed to go, what was this, a 10-rounder?
Yeah.
You know, you still got 9 rounds, huh?
Well, like I said, you know, I haven't sparred, I haven't been in the ring. So, you know, this is my first sparring match. I want to fight myself back into shape, opposed to before just jumping into big fights with Foreman and Lewis. I want to fight once a month, fight myself back into shape before I take a huge jump.
So this is really, Shannon, the long road back for you.
Yeah, I'm going to do it a little different this time. Like I said, before I went from the Valdez fight to such a huge jump to fighting Foreman. This time I'm going to fight myself into shape where guys are going to give me work, give me rounds, and then I'm going to be ready for the big fight.
Hey, activity's the key, but I know Michael Grant and Al Albert got something to say back.
Let's hear it, baby.
Have you talked about that?